How are we doing today, beautiful people? It is me, Coach Zo, back at home, coming from the Washburn University tryouts. And today, I have to have a real talk with my coaches. Because this weekend was so sobering for me. First of all, I had a great time. Thank you for Washburn University. Thank you to Coach Tia Benishek and everybody over there on staff. It was just an amazing experience. So I went to the Washburn University tryouts. Coach said, hey, I need some spots. So a little backstory. Coach Benishek used to be my head coach. I was an assistant for her at Kansas Wesleyan. So we've known each other for 10 plus years now. And we've been in contact here and there. But since I started this channel, this show, this podcast, this live, we've just been able to reconnect and talk about some things, right? And so we were hanging out this weekend, and she was going through her tryouts process, and she would just talk from a space of despair sometimes. And I had to remind her, Coach, hold on. You know, and we had so many moments like, Coach, hold on. That it was so jarring to me. But I realized, like, she doesn't have any other head coaches to talk to. And if you're not a head coach, it's hard to understand what it's like being a head coach. It doesn't make sense. Even as an assistant, you know what's going on with the team, and you understand that, you know, you may have to deal with the administration, but it doesn't fall on you. You don't have to deal with the parents being angry. You don't have to deal with the administration being angry. You don't have to deal with the athletes being angry at you. That's just a perspective you don't have. You, as an assistant, you get to come in, talk whatever mess you want, make whatever corrections, and then leave. Right? That's just the glory of being the assistant, but that's why you don't make the big bucks. And so I just wanted to take a few nuggets of the conversations that we had. We were together like all day yesterday, 12 hours. But there were about 10 things that she was like, thank you so much for telling me that. I needed to hear that. And I'm going to tell you those things when you're having your tryouts. These are things I want you to remember. I want you to keep cemented in your brain so that you don't feel like you're crazy. You don't feel like you're wrong. You don't feel like you're fighting up. You might be fighting an uphill battle, but you're not wrong. Nobody loves these kids like you do, and I'm going to remind you of that. Okay? Just a word of advice. This video is not for admins. Okay? If you're an AD, if you're a director of athletics or whatever, this is a safe space for coaches. This is not a place for you to attack coaches because of the way they feel. I'm here to speak for these coaches so that you can get more insight into them, but you don't get to retaliate because of the things that happened, right? They didn't come up to you. They weren't disrespectful. This was just my thoughts of what happened this weekend. So the first thing I told Coach was, hey, Coach, it's your job to be kind. It's not your job to be nice. And what I mean is, it's very easy. We are all taught from kindergarten, be nice. And we're coaches, we're cheerleaders. Like, we love to be nice, but being nice is not being kind, right? The path to hell is paved with good intentions. And that's what being nice is. If you take everybody on the team who tried out, that's being nice. They all tried out. Thank you for trying. That's being nice, but that's not being kind, because we have some people who die for this team. We have some people who stay up all night building bows and going over cheers and working on their motions and working on their stretches for this team. And then we have people that won't even put in the effort to practice on time. So yeah, it's nice to take everybody on the team, but it's not kind, because there are people that put in more energy for this team, care more about this team, sacrifice more for this team, that are not getting the same results from other people. The kind thing to do is to make the cuts, have a strict regimen, and make sure we get those who are willing to put in the extra effort. There was a girl this weekend who, the rules were very simple, right? Hey, there's a form, type it up, send it back. You have a time to meet, an interview time, come at your interview time. She didn't do either of those things. She hand wrote her form. She was supposed to send a copy of her medical insurance. She brought it in the day of the physical copy. She didn't take a print of it. And she wasn't on time to her interview. And Coach was still having a hard time cutting this person. It's like, she obviously doesn't care. So because you're trying to be nice, you're not being kind to your team. So, number one, please, 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 focus on being kind. Do not focus on being nice. The second thing I had to tell her is, she's like, guys, what do you think? Okay, so this is the team that I want. I feel really good about this team. What do you think? I said, Coach, you don't have to justify yourself. This is your team. If you want to take 8 people and you think these are the best 8 people for the vision that you have in your brain, take those 8. If you want to take 33 people because you think that's going to take your team where you think they need to be, take those 33. This is your team, your vision. You don't have to justify yourself. Stop second guessing every decision. And I know the world makes it hard, right? The world, you guys are women. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to my women coaches, right? The world is always telling you you don't know how to lead. They're telling you that you're being a B word whenever you're being strict or whenever you have high levels of standards. That's not true. And you can't succumb to that because you're leading the next generation of women. That's not what it is. You're being a leader, and this is what it feels like being a leader in this position. But don't second guess yourself because our athletes need to see you as women. That's how leadership is. That's what comes with leadership, and that's okay. You don't mind because you love what you do and you love those athletes and you sacrifice for them, right? Don't justify it. If you feel like you're making the right decision, you may have made the wrong decision. But if you've thought about it, go with it. And once you go with it, do not worry about making the right decision. Worry about making the decision right. The third thing that I had to tell Coach is stop worrying about treating people equally. It's your job to treat them fairly. Now, this concept is a little hard to grasp, right? Because why isn't fair equal? Why isn't equal fair? But it's in my head, it's easy, right? I have 2 sons. I have Joaquin, my oldest, and Reneus, my youngest. Joaquin, he was born with spina bifida. For all intent and purposes, Joaquin should be in a wheelchair 100% of his life. Reneus was not born with spina bifida. He ambulates, he walks, he jogs, he runs just like me. He runs and jogs just like any other normal 4-year-old. Treating everyone equally would tell Reneus and Joaquin they have to both run a mile in 7 minutes. But that's not fair. Right? Reneus moves like a 4-year-old, like the 4-year-old version of an Olympian, of a 400-meter runner. Joaquin shouldn't even be walking. It's a miracle that Joaquin can walk on his own. We never thought he would get here. So then to tell him you have to run your mile in the same 7 minutes that your brother does because that's equal, it is equal, but it's not fair. You have individual athletes who have individual needs, and sometimes you can't treat them like everyone else. Hey, Coach, you said we had to have all our homework in, or we had all our homework in by 5. She got her homework in by 6. That's not your business. What you need to understand is I do what's best for this team. I don't have to justify myself. I gave you a time because I know you could get to that time, and I gave her a time because that's the time that I decided she needed to have. That's it. Right? We're going to treat people equally. We're not going to worry about treating people fairly. You lead this team. You are the anchor of this team. And again, we're going to model what success looks like. We're going to model what leadership from a woman looks like. Treat people fairly, not equally. Number 4, and this one was crazy, but she was like, oh, I had an athlete come in and demand to see her score sheet, which I don't know how I missed it. I was in the same room with her, but I'm all over the room. You know me, I'm talking to these athletes and telling them about tumbling and, just trying to meet her new team. We had all just figured out they made the team and we were happy for them. But she's like, oh, this girl came in demanding to see her score sheets, and I was so scared. Do not be afraid to show those athletes that want to see their score sheets. Show them their score sheets, okay? Text without context is nothing. It's nothing. Doesn't matter, right? Here's your score sheet. You can have that. This is your tryout. What you will not have is everyone else's score sheet because that's none of your business. So even if that score sheet, because I know the thing is, well, what if she had all 5s across the board or all 10s across the board? Okay, let's say she did. You're still off this team. You had a perfect score. Everyone else was average. Let's just imagine that everyone else was average on my team. I decided because I'm the coach, I'm the leader of this team, that it would be better to take a team of average athletes with average talent who were great at working together than taking your above average score sheet. I don't think this is the right fit for you. You are too talented. You are too qualified. I'm sorry. Here's your score sheet. You're not on this team. If they had all 0s, all 1s, we already know, girl, you don't got it. Son, you don't have it. Right? But a lot of us are scared. What if they had high scores? What if they had an 87 or a 90 or a 95? It doesn't matter. It's their score sheet, but they can't compare it to anybody else's score sheet. If they did amazing, hey, you had an amazing tryout, not a good fit for this team, try a different team. And if it's high school, Try a different sport. Hey, you are very athletic. Your motions were great. Your tumbling was amazing. You were good at stunting. You're allowed. Maybe you should try color guard, or maybe you should try, I don't know. But this team is not for you. Thank you for trying out. Do not be afraid to show these people their score sheets. It doesn't hold you accountable for anything. It doesn't put you on the hook for anything. I promise you. I promise. Okay? Number 5. This one is for my college coaches. Stop communicating with parents. Stop it. Stop it. Your athletes are adults now. Even if they're 17, they chose to be in an adult-only environment. They didn't have to go to college. They could have sat out a year. Because they came into this adult-only environment, I'm only dealing with issues with the adult. Okay, when you go to the doctors, you have to sign off on who can even talk to the doctor about your issues. Okay, when you go to the therapist, when you go to the lawyer, it's the same thing. If you are a college coach and you have parents calling you, I need you to remember this phrase. It is unethical for me to speak on the matters of another private citizen. Nice and easy. It is unethical for me to speak on the matters of another private citizen. If you want more information, go to that citizen. I can't speak on it. That's between me and that person. What if they're on the phone? This is not how I handle these issues. If you have an issue with what took place at our practice, we can schedule a meeting, but I'm not doing this over the phone. Guys, don't let these parents hold you hostage. Don't do it. All right? You lead their team, you serve them, but you're not their slave. These parents are audacious, and I am happy for that, right? I want someone to watch over these children, to be their lawyer and their best defensive attorney. I want someone to do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to let that person bully me around or hurt my mental, I don't know that word, mental health. Yes, I'm not going to let them hurt my mental health because they think that their daughter deserves some whatever. If your daughter wants something, she needs to fight for it. If your son wants something, he needs to fight for it. If you're a child, they need to come to me as the adult that they are. It's the only way I'm doing this. Okay? Number 6. This one was kind of profound even for me, right? So we finished up, we wrapped up tryouts, and we were going over with the judges, who we definitely want on the team. We want her, we want him. Then we had a pile of people that we didn't want. Okay, put them to the side, but we had a big pile of no's. And in the no, it was this athlete, was a returner. So let me talk about the yes. So we had one girl that was kind of on the fence for the yes, but we wanted her. She was a strong athlete, but we knew in taking her, and I say we, I feel like I'm a part of this team now. I think I am. I think I'm a part of this team. I'm like an unofficial coach. But we wanted her, but we knew that she was a little rough around the edges. She came from a strong high school that didn't have any coaching, so she kind of had to raise herself and her team up. So she just did the best she could, right? But she was very talented. She, for the most part, presented very nicely, but we knew it was going to take a little bit of work to make her the cheerleader that we think she could be. But she was an incoming freshman. We wanted to take that on. We wanted to give her that chance. On the other side, we had this athlete that was coming in as a junior who was consistently not changing her behaviors, consistently making poor choices, consistently giving coach a headache. And finally, I said, Coach, remember that we wanted number 17. I shouldn't say numbers. We wanted this girl, and we know that that's going to take a lot of effort. Let's save the patience that we need for her and not use it on this athlete who doesn't care, who's already showed that they don't find our information, our input valuable, don't look like they want to change their behaviors. Right? Don't waste your patience on the athletes that you do want to pour into on athletes that aren't receiving your love. Because we only have so much, right? And when we took this girl, we knew that she was going to be a lot of work. Don't then take another girl that has been a lot of work and then cut the amount of effort and energy that she deserves. So I said, hey, save your patience for number such and such. She's going to need your love. You're like, true, she hasn't done us any wrong. Let's stick with her. This one is sad. It's sad for all of us. Okay? Cutting returners is never fun. But if you want to make trying out for your team and being on your team, it is valuable and necessary to cut those athletes who are not good enough, especially returners. It makes a sign. It gives everyone an understanding that making this team is a privilege and not a right. And we all care about things when we know it can be taken away from us, right? If my mom gives me a car, hey, as long as you do what you're supposed to do and you fill it up with gas and you don't get any wrecks, you can drive the car. Okay, cool. I'm going to make sure I get good grades and I'm going to fill it up with gas. I'll probably wash it because my mom could take it away from me at any moment. But if I pay for a car outright, a clunker outright, I'm not going to really treat it as right because I'm never going to lose it. Shoot, that's a bad example. Let's talk about relationships, right? When people start settling in relationships, they don't care about it as much because they don't think that they're going to lose that other person, and they don't treat that relationship, they don't value it as much. It's the same relationship, but this is a cheer relationship. So are you going to feel sad that you don't have those athletes anymore? Yes, but you didn't just wake them up this morning telling them it was tryouts. They had all month, they had 2 months, they had 3 months, whatever time they had time to prepare. And just because you made the team last year does not give you the right to make the team this year. And parents are going to be upset, athletes are going to be upset, but what you need to explain to them is you're channeling this at me. I wasn't the judge. You showed up unprepared. And now you are paying the consequences for your actions. Yes, you made the team last year. Yes, we had a great time. Yes, I do think you're a great person. This is not what we're debating right now. The tryout was to see if you deserve to be on our team. You don't. I don't think you're going to make the cut. And it's hard to do. It's hard to say, right? It's easy for me to say, not my team, not my monkeys, not my circus. But I've done it. I've had to do it. I've done it. And yesterday, it made even more sense. The two athletes that are going to probably end up being the captains for Washburn next year were so relieved. Like, Coach, I missed those athletes, but I think we're going to be able to go further with the people that we have because they're going to work better with us, right? Remember, we are the ones who obsess about our teams. We are the ones who lose sleep all night because we're trying to figure out if little Susie goes in the front row or in the back row. Is she going to have her skill when we need it? Is she going to be able to do her chant when we need it? Is she not? We're the ones who pour everything we have for no money, for $0, right? We don't get paid enough for this. Stop second guessing yourself and do what you know to be right. It's hard. It's hard to do the right thing, and we know that, right? Everything in life is hard when you're doing it right. Losing weight is hard when you're doing it right. Getting your money in order is hard when you're doing it right. It all does not feel good. But if you can withstand this pain, when you go to camp in the summer, oh my gosh, this camp was so much better. Why? Well, because we had a better tryout. Then if you're in Kansas and you go to state, oh my goodness, we did so much better at state this year. Why? Because everyone was more invested in being great at state. And then you get to the end of basketball season and you're like, wow, what a great season. Why was this season so much better than last season? But we invested more, right? We chose better candidates and we had to take on more pain, yes, but now we get to celebrate more. And so if we can remember those things, coaches, I promise you, you're not crazy. I promise you, you're not a bad person. I promise you, you're not a bitch. You are amazing. You do great work, and we love you. Your athletes love you. The ones that made the team love you. The ones that didn't make the team, they love you too. That's the thing. They're angry right now, but they love you too, because even though they know why they didn't make the team, right? And they know that it's not you. And they know that you care about this team a lot. So, guys, I went to sleep last night. Actually, I was talking to the Washburn coach, and I'm like, Coach, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to put together the ultimate cheer coach bundle. And this will be exactly what you wished for, okay? You're going to wish you had this when you took over your team. And honestly, I don't want you to pay for it. I'm going to talk about this bundle, but I want your administration to pay for this bundle because it's not just for you. It's for you. It's for the coach after you. It's for the coach after them. I want to give you a bundle that's going to make it so that when you take over the team or anyone takes over the team, they'll know where to go, they'll know what to do, and they won't make it look like all those years you poured into the team are down into the waste. So what is in this bundle? All right. It's going to have how to run a generic practice. If we don't have any pep rallies coming up, if we just have a game on Friday, how do we run that practice? How to run a pep rally. How to run a pep rally organized with your band, right? In concert with your band. How to schedule your game day. What time do we show up? What are we wearing on game day? What kind of bows? How do we plan that out for the season? How do we practice when we have a pep rally come up? How do we prepare for tryout month? How do we prepare for tryouts? What the score sheet's going to look like? Game day hair and makeup. I'm going to have 3 versions, cheap, average, and expensive, right? I'm going to have a list of makeup that you'll need that you can get from Ulta. I have a list of makeup you can get from Amazon. I'll find the top 15 common colors, so like the blues, the reds, the silvers, the golds, the best common colors. I'm going to put those all in a list so that way when you take it over, you don't have to think about the makeup. That's fun for some of us. For me, it's a nightmare every year. But I'm going to put it all together so that no matter what your team colors are, you will have a palette. Hey, this is your makeup palette. It's going to be like this. The only thing difference is instead of having the brown shadow eye, you're going to have the smoky eye with black, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a makeup expert, I promise you. Right? Obviously, it's going to have the jumps, drills, and skills, how to stunt 101, how to do a round off from scratch. It's going to have 3 options for game day shoes. Who knows what shoes to get? I never know, right? Game day shoes. It's going to have, who do I get my bows from? I'm going to have 3 bow vendors, 3 to 10, 3 to 5, 3 to 5 bow vendors, depending on the year. Where do I get my uniforms from? Is it varsity? Is it rebel? Is it someone else? Can I depend on them? I'm just going to have a list of uniform vendors, list of palm vendors, list of sign vendors. What are the top 10 common signs in high school? This is all going to be for high school coaches, okay? Spirit spreader. Where do I go for my spirit spreader? Where is that? Competitions in Kansas. If my team competes, where do we go? How do we sign up? Who do we talk to? Okay, I'm going to have a video, Choreography 101. What can I learn? What can I pick up from choreography so that I don't have to pay $5,000 to bring somebody in to do something that maybe I could have done, right? What else? I'm going to have an 8-count sheet template on there. So if you do want to do your choreography, you know how to, you'll have an 8-count sheet to do that on. And then I missed something. I wrote a whole list of them, but I'm also going to have the best fundraising activities. Listen, I'm not throwing shade, but I don't want to buy any trash bags. I don't want to buy any butter braids. I don't. And if I don't, your community probably doesn't either. So I'm going to have fundraising activities that are known to make money and happen every year that don't require you begging people for overpriced things, right? So what's going to be on there? Kansas City Chiefs games, Kansas City Royals games, K-State men's basketball, Wichita State basketball. I guess K-State basketball, it doesn't have to be men's. It might be women's too. But it's going to give you all these type of activities that you can sign up for and bring your team to and raise money that way, as opposed to asking your community over and over and again. Maybe you do run a butter braid, or maybe you do sell a trash bag, but maybe you want more money to compete. Maybe you want to go to Florida and compete, or you want to compete at NCAA in Dallas. These are going to be fundraising ideas that have to happen, that need people like you and me, and need big teams of people, and I'm going to get them from everywhere. So it won't just be Kansas State. Some of us live closer to Lawrence. Some of us live closer to Wichita. Some of us live closer to Emporia. I'm going to have statewide, Kansas statewide fundraising activities that are guaranteed to make you a ton of money, $1,000 or more per team, per event. So if you want this cheer coaching bundle, and if you think that your administration needs to pay for it, leave in the comments, write need it, okay, write need, N-E-E-D-I-T, and I will make sure to get you that bundle as soon as I can. That way you can make a PO to your administration, and then they can figure out, get it to them when, I know you got to get the board approved minutes, and then they can, it's a process. I'm okay with that. I get it. I work with them too, right? But put that in the comments, that way I can get you the information, you can get everything started, and we can take care of not just you, right? You need this stuff, but we can take care of your team and your community, because when you're no longer the coach, someone else is going to take over, and you don't want them to destroy all the progress you made. Hey guys, Thank you so much for watching. I'm Coach Zo. Coaches, again, you're not crazy. You're not wrong. Stop justifying yourself. You love this team more than anybody else. Peace out.